What's happening, guys? Kenny here again, and today I've got another hype versus reality video for you guys. And the knife I'll be talking about today is this little guy. Well, he's not so little, but this is the Buck Marksman, and this is the SK Blades exclusive, which has S35 VN steel, and that is Boss heat treated. Paul Boss is that's who heat treats these Buck knives, and he's got a special type of heat treatment he does on these. This does have the orange G10 scales. This is relatively true to the color, guys, what's coming through right now. As you guys can see, if I leave the picture, it totally changes, but as my hands come in, that's about the true color of the knife. But yeah, so and the review I have today is going to be in the hype versus reality fashion. And if you guys don't know how that rolls, I'm going to go ahead and put the size, the specs on the page right here. I don't want to waste your guys' time, and we'll get that out of the way right away. And then I'll bring you guys back and we'll go ahead and do some size comparisons. And we'll start with some Spydercos. Here's the pair of 3. You guys can see the Marksman is a larger knife. And then go ahead and bring out the Spyderco Delica 4. Again, the Marksman's a larger knife. These are custom scales from Amazon. Heard about these from Stassa23 and went ahead and grabbed some. They're pretty cool, man. You do have to do your own modification to get the screws to work, but yeah, for 15 bucks, wasn't bad. And then we'll go ahead and bring in some other size comparisons. Bring in the Laconico Keen. This one's a little closer to the size of the Marksman. Bring in a Civivi Backlash. That's this is like almost exactly the size you're getting out of the Marksman. Grip size is a little bit larger on the Civivi, but really the cutting edge and blade length is really similar to the Marksman. And then go ahead and bring in 940. Similar size, but a little smaller. And then Nakamura. Little guy compared to the Marksman. I know these size comparisons aren't great, guys. Let me grab one more just to give you guys a solid size comparison. The PM2, I know you guys all have one of these for the most part, and it's you're looking at almost the exact same overall length. Very similar grip size here, and blade length as well. So really similar knives if you have a PM2. And moving right along, I'm going to go into the hype on this knife, and we'll talk about that, and then we'll go into the reality, as you guys know. And talking about the hype of this knife, there was a bit of hype for me, at least. The Marksman it's gotten a lot of hype with the SLS locking system. This is the strong locking system by Grant and Gavin Hawk. If you guys don't know about Grant and Gavin Hawk, they make custom knives. They're well known for some unique designs like the Mud, which has kind of a unique locking mechanism as well. And yeah, they're just well-known custom knife makers. Grant and Gavin Hawk made this strong lock system, which I think is kind of a lame name, to be honest. But it has a strap back here that essentially, it pretty much is a negative pressure against this tang right here. And there is a stop pin. You'll see the stop pin right there. As it reaches that point, it locks up against this surface. And then as it comes out, it's going to latch into that little cutaway right there while that's up against the stop pin. So that's what locks the knife in place. And then all you have to do is pull up on this strap lock and release that, and you get a free, this is a free dropping knife in between, as you guys can see. Very, very free play. Yet, you know, supposed to be a sturdy lockup as well on ball bearings. So this was something I really wanted to try, seeing the strong lock mechanism. It seemed to be really cool, and the fidget factor and everything, everyone seemed to be loving these. So that was one thing. This does come with 154 cm on the regular stock version, but this version has S35, and they're all done by Boss Heat Treating. Again, that's Paul Boss, who's well known for having a really extensive heat treating protocol and everything, and just being above and beyond as far as his heat treat. It's what Buck's known for as far as that Boss heat treat. And then this is the SK Blades exclusive, like I said, with orange G10 scales. They did have a ghost G10 as well, I think, which is like gray. I'd love to see one of those, get my hands on one of those. I think if I was going for one of these, I would probably go for that version. But this, first off, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Kurt. This is Kurt's knife. J Cool G19, I believe, is his screen name, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, thank you so much, Kurt. You guys know Kurt for doing all the heat treat on the blades lately. He's been doing that heat treat testing, not heat treating, but testing the heat treat, the HRC on these knives. So thanks, big thanks, and shout out to Kurt for letting me get my hands on this guy. I've been wanting to try one, so that was really awesome of him. But yeah, so the SK Blades version, this exclusive, is $124.99 on their site. But I think right now it's on sale. I just looked and it was $109.99, which, you know, that's a good deal for what you're getting. S35, G10, you know, unique locking mechanism. It also, you know, like I said, they seem to have great action from what I could see. Everyone was loving the action on these. It did, from what I saw, carry well for the weight, for the size of blade you're getting and everything. It has seemed to have good ergos and everything. It's a good EDC size, just a good EDC knife all around. And yeah, and then that Boss treated S35. You know, that's pretty much the hype on this guy, guys. The strong lock, the, you know, the S35 Boss, just all those things combined, and the ergos of this knife and everything, and the action. So that was the hype, and I'm sure you guys have seen the hype on this. And then when I got it, when I finally got this thing out of box from Kurt, I will say, guys, I was pretty impressed. The fit and finish, as far as the finish goes, guys, the G10 is nicely smooth. This is polished to really a pretty smooth surface. You guys can see that, some shine coming off of this, but it's smooth, but it still has some grip, just like almost like a countertop, how that smoothness kind of grips, which is nice. It really has a nice finish on the blade as well, this like stonewash finish, almost like an acid etch with a stonewash finish. Just really nice. I don't know what you'd call this coating on here, if it's just an acid etch or what. I didn't really look into that, guys, sorry, but you guys can let me know what you found. Yeah, but it's a nice finish on it, and the same stonewash on this, on the strap lock or whatever you call that. And then the clip as well, same finish, with a little less stonewash on it, but it's a nice touch. Everything seems to match pretty good. The hardware as well has that same kind of coating, and then it seems to it's just got a nice finish, nice detent as far as the way this locks in there. The fit as far as centering goes, this thing's a little off center. Doesn't really bug me that much, but it is off center. The fit is really tight as far as the way the bearings kind of, I think they're inset into the handle scales, so it keeps it really tight tolerances as far as way the blade fits inside the scales. It does have a little bit of fit and finish as far as you see the gaps there, which isn't stellar. It's not that great as far as the finish goes, or the fit goes that way. You can also see the little gaps there in the backspacer to the G10. Not the greatest fit, guys. I'll be honest. Not impressed by the fit on this, but it's good. It's good, guys. It's done well. It's just not like above and beyond. I mean, for the price point, you know, at $125, it's not horrible, but it's not spectacular. I've seen better, especially even at cheaper. I've seen better, but you know, for this price point, it's not horrible. And then, you know, as far as the finish goes as well, everything seems to be finished nicely inside. There's nothing that really stands out, but it's done well. And then moving on, the carry, you know, what I noticed right away, it's a nice deep carry clip, and it's up against smooth G10. There is a nice ramp going in and out. It does go in and out very smoothly and easily. Taking it out is very easy. It's effortless, guys, going in and out, which is nice. I will say the offset, the way that the clip goes straight down and the knife goes out this way isn't ideal. The knife does kind of sit out like that instead of tucking away like most knives do. This is kind of weird. You see how most knives want to tuck back away from the clip. That's the ideal way to do it, but this one kind of goes out the other way. Not ideal, guys, but it's not that bad of it's not a serious issue or anything, but I did notice a little bit in pocket. Otherwise, going in and out, it's really nice with going by the knife. Not too much of a, like, what you want to call pocket pecker, as Nick would say. But this is kind of sharp. It's not bad. Like, as far as the finish goes on that, they did chamfer it well. It's not horribly sharp, and there is a little bit of jimping there, but it's not horribly sharp. It is a little sharp, and I'm sure over time it would wear at whatever's in your pocket. I don't keep a lot in my pocket. Sometimes I'll have my wallet there, but other than that, I usually don't have much in that pocket with my knife. And sometimes I don't even keep that there. So, yeah, not bad as far as pocket goes, the carry. Good weight and everything. We'll get into that. Here, let me go ahead and bring in the scale. Does have a good weight. Yeah, 3.52 for about 3.5-inch blade. That's really good. You know, we can't complain about that. So that's a nice weight. It did carry well, and I did notice going in and out, it's great. And another thing, it's got a decent design, guys. I do love the design for the most part. I like the way it looks. I like the way it carries. It's cool, like cool different locking mechanisms, so that's cool. I did notice this, which is kind of weird as far as carrying in the pocket. You see how the blade sticks out? So if something does get in between, it could cut up whatever's in your pocket. If you had some loose stuff, that is something to note. You see that blade sticking out right there. So that is something to be considerate of. You don't want to have stuff loose in there that might get stuck in between and get cut up. And as far as your fingers getting cut, not very likely, guys, for your fingers to get in between there to get cut. I don't think that could ever happen, to be honest. The action is really fun, guys. When I first got it, I'm like, first things first, I just did like a light switch, and it came right out. And then I did push button works as well. Not as well, as you guys can see. Kind of got to load up on it and think about it a little bit. But yeah, light switch works very well. As far as releasing the lock, when I first got this, guys, it was getting significant amount of lock stick. The lockup is excellent, guys. Really just super solid lockup in every direction with the ball bearings in here. But there was getting some lock stick where it wouldn't want to disengage, and it was tearing my finger up, guys. Tearing it up. And in fact, that lock stick, as I was playing with it, one of the first few days I had it and I was playing with it, and I went to disengage it and it got stuck and like I lost my grip, and this thing ended up yeah, disfiguring my wedding tattoo here. I don't wear a ring for the most part, guys, because of just how active I am and shit. I just can't have a ring on when I'm doing work in the garage, like any carpentry work. And when I'm surfing, that thing will slip right off. So we got tattoos. My wife has the same tattoo. But yeah, I cut it up. I sliced myself good, guys. This was significant. But it's actually one of the like probably some of the worst I've ever cut myself with my own knife. Usually it's just little petty stuff like when I'm sharpening, but that was a good slice. And this knife has cut Kurt as well. So this is definitely one of those ones where expect to have a learning curve as far as actions goes and using the knife. I like to put my finger in between here and just kind of use the leverage to release the lock. But it does take some getting used to, and you might have some lock stick. And what I did is I put some pencil on this surface and on this surface. I put some graphite from a number 2 pencil, and it got rid of that lock stick. And every now and then I'll just reapply it, and it gets rid of that lock stick. And then after that, I never cut myself, and it was fun to play with. I will say, if you're playing with this thing all day, it gets to you. You can see there just from this little bit of playing with it, it will start to, bruise your bone a little bit. I did notice that. I don't know if it's just me being a wuss or if everyone notices that. I hear you can loosen this screw and just release some of that pressure. That would probably help. Or you could sand on this and knock that edge down a little. But not my knife, guys. I'm not going to mess with that. And Kurt was nice enough to let me use this thing, which was great of him. So I'm not going to do anything like that. And I think it's great, guys. I do like playing with it. It's a great fidget toy if that's what you're in it for. But really fun to play with. Really smooth action. Any kind of deployment you want. It finger flicks well. It also, if you just want to slow roll it out or use your thumb to just fling it out. Really nice. Really fun to play with as far as action. But it does need some love as far as putting some graphite on there and also just getting used to actuating this lock. It's a little weird for sure. I like to hold it like that when I do that. So yeah. And then as far as in use, the ergos, guys, are great. Very smooth. You see how it's contoured with this the steps they do on the G10. And the way it's smooth, it really fits smooth. It's nice in hand in that sense. It's not going anywhere because of the swoop of the handle. It really locks in. As far as grip size, my medium to large size hands fits nicely with some room to spare. Kurt has some freaking meat hooks, and I know this fits his hand, which he's like an extra large, guys, for sure. So I'm surprised this fits his hand well, but that's a good size. And it's very smooth in hand, and in the hammer grip, guys, or the saber grip, this thing is extremely comfortable. In use, I found that it was just like almost disappears in hand. This clip really disappears. I don't notice it at all because it's not a lot of ramp at the end there, even though it's up against this part of your palm because of the way it goes out. I really didn't notice it, and it kind of falls like right there, and it just really disappears. The only thing I'd say in a certain grip I would notice that it's not amazing is the pinch grip. This does dig in when you're in pinch grip, and I noticed that it wasn't very comfortable. But every other grip, guys, this is really good. I know reverse grip's kind of ridiculous, but if you're stabbing into something like a log or something, it's very comfortable in every grip, except for the pinch grip. I noticed that the strong lock kind of digs in. Yeah, really good in the ergos, guys. Really nice. Moving along into the blade. This blade was nice. It was excellent in use. This does have a fairly aggressive but short hollow grind. So it does get relatively thin behind the tip. I'll go ahead and show you that right now, and then we'll go into some use, and I'll show you me using the knife. We're all zeroed out. Yeah, we're zeroed. The stock is fairly thin. I did put that in earlier. I'm not going to reiterate. 14 thousandths, guys. That's back at the plunge. Out in the middle here. 14 thousandths. Wow. Yeah. It's very slicey, guys. It's a relatively thin stock, and then it goes to a very slicey hollow ground blade. Gets very thin behind the edge. Yeah, like 16 there. It does get thick by the tip. As you guys probably saw, there's not a lot of distal tapering on the spine. 25. At the tip, I bet it's pretty thick, as you guys can see by my secondary bevel. 36. Yeah. You guys can see by my secondary bevel here how thick how wide that gets at the tip. How thin it is back here. I think this is 17 thousandths. I just followed the edge he had. But you guys can see here, it gets really thick at the tip. There's not a lot of distal tapering. And this blade stays very similar all the way out to here, where it finally starts to, the hollow grind starts to get into the tip. But that's not amazing as far as the tip goes, but it does give you a nice strong tip. This did have a really bad sharpening choil, where this plunge grind, I did adjust. I made this extend out. I did that for Kurt because it was really bad, and he said it was a user, so just go ahead and do it, and I did, and it'll help it in the next sharpenings. This did have a bit of a recurve because of the way this was. It was like all the way back to here and really bad. And he did get a slight recurve, which you can still see there a little bit. I tried to get rid of it for the most part, but it's still slightly recurved. In the subsequent sharpenings, it should smooth out. I didn't want to take too much steel away for him, but I did put an edge on it. It's extremely sharp. I did use it after putting an edge on it, and it was really nice, guys. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the screen right here. I'll put on the use I did get. This is a very slicey blade, guys. I did notice how well it slices, and with that hollow ground, that's pretty aggressive edge there. It was really nice. It really cut well. It really just performed very nicely. The S35, Paul Boss does do a really good job with his heat treats for the most part. But let me put it this way, guys. Kurt did test this thing right when he got it. He tested the S35 to see what it's heat treated at, and it was 58.5. That's not very impressive, guys. I mean, for Paul Boss, who's known for this amazing heat treat, like, I would have loved to see them get up into the high 59s, even 60 range. I don't know what the advertised is on this knife, but I would guess between 58 and 60. And, yeah, I mean, 58.5 is not impressive. Although I did, I'll say it took a nice edge. It wasn't amazing. I wasn't amazed by the edge it took, but it was decent. It was good for S35, and like I said, it didn't really stand out to me like from other S35s I've sharpened and used. It didn't stand out. It was okay. It was par, if I could say anything. And yeah, the blade stock, guys, it was 0.12 is the blade stock on this knife with the aggressive hollow ground. It's just a slice. It's a good slicer, like, to be just straightforward. And I really did enjoy using the knife. The ergos were very nice. The blade is very nice. Everything about that was really good. And, it's just an enjoyable knife to use. Now, bring you guys back. Yeah, I mean, I really did think that I would like this knife a little more, to be honest. And when I send this guy back to Kurt, which is actually happening today, I'm going to get it back to him. But it's not a knife that I think I'm going to, like, be missing. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoyed using it, and it was fun, and I think the strong lock is cool. It's fun to actuate. It's a good, strong lock. You know, once you put your hand here, this thing's not going to release. You have that extra element of having your hand on the lock. It's just a great design as far as locks go, and it's something different and new. But it's not something I have to have. I'm not like, yeah, I gotta get one now. That was the end of it. It's not like the Sabenza for me where, you know, I handled Steve's and then I saw it go and I'm like, oh, I gotta have one. That's not what this knife's gonna be. I'm not amazed by it or anything. It is a very comfortable knife and it's very good. And if you need a work knife and you just need a user and you want something that's gonna be durable and tough and, you know, kind of fun to work with and just a good knife all around, I don't think you can go wrong, guys, to be honest. I think it's a good knife. And if it fits your style and you want to, like, you know, you want to support Buck and US made, and I understand, guys, it's a good design, it's a good knife. It's just not necessarily for me. I'm not like, oh, I can't live without it. It's not that type of thing for me, guys. And although I enjoyed using it, I don't think I'm going to miss it all that much, to be honest. For the price point, it's a great option, you know, on sale now for $110. That's a really good price for S35, an interesting locking mechanism in G10, very comfortable knife. I think that's a great price. Really good carry and deep. Yeah, it's a good knife, guys. Really good. You will have to do a little bit of choil maintenance there and make that right to make it easier in subsequent sharpenings. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's good stuff. And you're not going to have to do too much modifying to it. So, yeah, great option, guys. Go check this out. They are at Blade HQ, or I think the regular version is, and they are at SK Blades right now. And, yeah, that's it, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your subs, your likes, your comments. Really appreciate you guys. Take it easy.